Alright. The definition of being a servant is to perform duties to others. Have this responsibility. And like Jesus Christ, he served God. He has followers, like being a servant. He was the leader. He was the greatest leader of all time. And by that, being a servant is putting yourself out there. Your heart, your time, your effort. Your heart. Because if you're just here right now, like you don't even know what serving is. Like you're here, like just be here, and like just being here. You're here to serve God. You're here to serve, to bring them closer to God. You're here to help people, bring them closer to God. And remember that you are giving your time, your effort, your heart, and that's how being a servant is. And now, when you guys learn being a servant is, we're gonna know the major key. Major key. Alright, this is major key. Major key right here is the 5. Not the 5, but I believe there's more into it, like being the characteristics of being a servant. I believe there's more into that, but I'm gonna talk about 5 things. Alright, the 5 major keys to success. So 5. What are the characteristics of being a servant? First is Christ-centered. Alright, remember, Christ-centered. That's the first thing for being a servant. Being Christ-centered, you gotta be nourished. You gotta be nourished. Always be your relationship with people is always centered to God. Like you're with your family. If you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Yeah. So always be in your relationship to God is always there. Should always be there and always been shown. Apply that into your life. Be Christ-centered. All right, be Christ-centered. And not just that. Pray. You gotta pray. Remember, Christ-centered. You gotta pray. Pray every day, every night. Have that personal relationship with God. Every day you pray. You're just not praying for yourself. Be a prayer warrior. Pray for your sisters, your brothers and sisters, your family. People that are struggling in this world. This crazy world. And the Holy Bible. Next one is the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible is very, very important to us because it's the Word of God. The Bible gives us wisdom. The wisdom, not just wisdom, but the message of God. Make sure you every day or every week, once a week, you read every chapter, or just a verse. Just a verse will help you out. Will help you out throughout life. Whatever you're struggling with, just read like any Bible verse, or just a chapter in every Bible, right? So doing that, it's Christ-centered, and that's the first one, Christ-centered. The second one is humility. Humility is being humble. Be selfless. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there for others. You're giving your heart. You don't care about anything what they say to you. You're being judged, criticized. You don't care. You're doing this for God. You're doing this for the Lord and for others. This is not for you. He could help you too. And that's how humility is. There's one more thing. Humility is also being obedient. Being obedient to God, being obedient to your parents. That's how obedience comes from humility. And when you obey God, you're obeying your parents too, because God anointed your parents to love you, take care of you, love you, be there until you die. Your parents doesn't even die. They're there for you until you die, and then you. Don't die. They're there for you. That's how it is. And humility is a really big thing for us because all of us have, I know all of us have pride, and that's a struggle for us too, and that's where you gotta teach yourself to be, humility. You gotta teach yourself, and like for example, like you see a sketchy dude, right? He's sketchy, you're like, oh, and then he came up to you, like, oh, no, he doesn't come up to you. You come up to him and say, what's up, man? Like, how are you doing? Like, just ask, like, how's their day? Just simple things like that. And yeah, that's how humility is. And there's more to that, but yeah, but that's one of the things that I learned of humility. And third is integrity. Integrity is honesty. Honesty. Be reliable. Consistent. Honesty. There's a good example of honesty and being reliable this week. Like, for example, when Christian asked me, like, what are you doing this weekend? I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, we're gonna go, like, I thought we were gonna go hiking or something. Like, we're gonna do something fun, like, and then he's like, oh, I need help for house. I was like, oh, man. But I was being reliable, I was being reliable. I was like, I'm happy to help, like, because he needed help. I'm happy to help, and he said, he gave a talk. I was like, oh, I wasn't ready for this, like, I'm not ready, because it was so, like, I don't know, it was out there. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, so that's one of the honesty and reliable. I was being honest to Christian, like, I wasn't ready, this is my first talk. I was like, I don't think I can do this. But then I was like, he said, mission ready. I was like, yeah, mission ready. I forgot about that. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta be mission ready, man. And then yeah, I was like, I gotta do this. My first talk, do it, Yeah, that's one of the integrity. I was being honest, I was being reliable, and consistent. Consistent is very important too, because consistent is also praying. Have that time for yourself. For others, having that time for others, your brothers and sisters. Like if you see them like in social media or whatever, like you see, just like talk to them. Talk to them. Be consistent to them. And yeah, so that's integrity. That's the third major key. All right. What's the third? I'm gonna recap this at the end, all right? All right, the fourth major key is excellence. Excellence is excellence. All right, remember fourth major key. You got it? Yeah. Fourth is excellence. Excellence is it's not for the sake of accomplishment. It's for the sake. It's not for the sake, but it's your effort. Your effort and time for that excellence. You're not. You're if you want to get excellence for you're one of the characteristics of being a servant is excellence, but excellence is not just accomplishing something. You're doing your effort, your best effort to be out there. You're not doing it for accomplishing it. You're not out there just to make yourself good. Like you're out there to help each other. To help others that need God, their prayers, be out there. That's one of the excellence. Yeah, so excellence that, and then always remember that, they deserve nothing but for the best for us, not for them, not for us, for them. And yeah, that's excellence. And the fifth one, love. Fifth one is love. Love is God's love. This love is surrounded by us. Like every year, like being a servant, you're always gonna be caring, loving, be always, always be lovable, always be caring, because being a servant is like Jesus Christ. You show love to everybody, like that's how you're supposed to be, being a servant. And we talk to members you know, you always show them caring. Like, don't be too much though. Don't be too much. Just always, you know, be caring, be friendly, and yeah. And always be concerned to them too. That's how love is. You know, if you're concerned to someone, that's you showing love, and you're showing love to your, you know, your parents, you know, your whatever you're close with. You know, even if you don't know anybody, just show love. You know, show love, and that's one of being a servant. You know, being a good servant, like Jesus Christ. And yeah, that's so. Now you guys know about the five characteristics of being a servant. Now we're gonna put that key to major, you know, the key to major success to a lock, right? The lock is gonna be your responsibilities, right? Your tasks, responsibilities, your duties, and yeah, just visualize that. Visual the key as the five things that you learn right now. The characteristics of being a servant. Use that as your key to do your responsibilities, your tasks. You know, use that, and then when you use that, your duties is going to be like connection. You know, one of your responsibilities to connect to your leaders, parent coordinators, your parents. You know, your family. That's one of your responsibilities. You know, being a servant is not just, you know, in household or everywhere. Because it starts off with your family. You know, family comes first before God. Or family, God's first, and then is it family or God's first? Or God's first? God first, and then family. You know, always put God out there, and that's one of your responsibilities. It starts with your family. Like for me and my brother, you know, if you guys know my brother, Michael, it's just me and him that is really, we were in this YFL for too long. Like, we were here for long, and then my parents keep asking why you guys keep going out. And I'm like, oh, we're going out to, like, you know, to learn about God, you know, to learn more about our religion. Because it's amazing, you know, like, for me, at first, I wasn't really into it, but then, you know, I realized something, that my responsibilities, you know, I changed the way I talk, the way I talk, the way I move, like, everything, man, I changed. And that's one of my, the five characteristics. Yeah, that's one of the things that we learned, me and my brother. You know, I'm pretty sure all of us learned this, because, you know, being a servant is everything. You know, the things that I said right now that's all of you guys right now. You know, that's all of you guys. And one of the responsibilities is, you know, if you're, like Gabriel said on his household basics, right? He said you're gonna have once or twice a month of a household, but sometimes it's mostly one time. But then, you know, servants or the leaders, you have to always communicate to know that, you know, you have to know that you have to communicate if there's a household coming up, you know, like always talk to them. And one of the tasks you have to do is always connect them. Like, oh, when you ask them, like, hey, when's the household coming up? Like, be excited, you know. I think that's one of the responsibilities.
Huh? Yeah.
And, you know, having this responsibilities, you're using this five characters, you're using these keys to your responsibilities. It will help you, you know, guide you. It will unlock something. Like, it'll unlock your success. You know, it'll unlock you to be a better person. You know, like you're out there, you're giving yourself your time, your responsibilities to others. You know, I've said it so many times. And one of the things that we do in household is one-on-one, right? I'm pretty sure you guys do it a lot, right? One-on-one. in households. Yeah, so one of the things that we do in household is one-on-one, like everything during middle of the household, and you just talk to them. You know, it's got to be brothers to brothers and sisters to sisters, and using this topic. If your household topic, your topic is using that topic, you got to be relatable to that topic too. You know, and yeah.
Yeah.
And all right. So the 5 practices is humility. No, Christ-centered, humility, integrity, excellence, and love. And then using all of this, being a servant, you know, it's amazing. So that's one of the responsibilities. You know, I think the responsibility you have to do is, you know, be out there. I think I keep repeating myself. Am I keep repeating myself? It feels like I am. So yeah, your tasks, your duties, being a servant. Like for me, when I was a camp servant, I was reliable. You know, reliable. I was being consistent. I was praying before I was being camp servant. I had to pray for it. You know, that's not just being it. Like before your household, always pray for the topic. You know, everybody has to pray. You know, like be consistent. And yeah, so if doing one-on-one, like okay, so now you guys learn your tasks, right? And responsibilities. Okay, now we're gonna talk. I think yeah. So we're gonna use that responsibilities to now like after you're using like you gotta do a one-on-one, right? So when you're in one-on-one sessions during household, you have to start off with a prayer, right? With a prayer, and after the prayer, you know, you be not awkward, you know, be more friendly, because you know I think I was one of the members that was being awkward when they were giving a one-on-one talk when I first came in on the household. And I was like, this guy, I forgot who it was, but he was being initiative, you know. It was being initiative, like, hey, so what do you think about the topic of this household? And I was like, oh, it's amazing, you know, like I've learned things that I haven't learned when I was, you know, when I was I wasn't being in household. And that's when I, you know, nourished myself, and like I realized that there's more to it, you know. There's more to it being a member and being a servant. And you know, when you're in household, always be open-minded, you know. Because sometimes when people are like, I think I encountered this. I think last camp when I was named Maya. I was talking to this one brother that he was really, I don't know what he was talking about, but I was being open-minded. I know what he was talking about, but I can't say it to you guys because you know it's our you know, private stuff, private conversation that we have. And you know, I was being open-minded, you know, but then I was being Christ-centered. You know, I was there, because I can't say this, but I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, I was being Christ-centered to him, and I was like being supportive. And yeah, that's one of the things that I've experienced. You know, always be Christ-centered. All right, so what did you guys learn? No, I'm serious. What did you guys learn? Well, all right, what's the 5 major key right now? Christ-centered, humility, integrity, excellence, and love. All right. Now, do you guys know what a servant is? Yes. What is it? All right. So, you guys know what being a servant is? Okay. Yes. Yes. Good job. And yeah, so that's, you guys know what a servant is, right? Right? Yes? Okay, you guys know the 5 major key? And now you guys know about the lock, your responsibilities? Alright, now you combine them, what do you have?
Household.
Success!
And unlock doors.
Alright, so, yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys a Bible verse. Luke 17, chapter 17, verse 7. Wait, I think Luke chapter 17, verse 7 to 11. Alright, so now, just keep that in mind, the Bible verse, keep that in mind, and, do you guys want to know what the Bible verse? Sorry. Alright, can someone say it to me?
Okay. Will mommy would say to your servant who has just come in, for potting and what? Oh, tending sheep in the field. Come here immediately and take your place at the table. Would he not rather say to him, prepare something for me to eat, put on your apron and wait on me while I eat and drink? You may eat and drink when I am finished. Is he grateful to that servant because he did what was commanded? Should it be with you? Up to 11?
Yeah.
Okay. When you have done all you have been commanded, say you are unprofitable servants. We have done all we are obligated to. And you want me to skip it?
No, it's fine. Just read it on your own time, and reading your own time, be consistent. Like that's So before I end this, we are called to do God's command. We're called to use these characteristics, these responsibilities, to serve God. To serve, to bring Him closer. All right, remember that being a servant is to bring closer. To bring people closer to God, So that's major key. All right, and I think that's how I end the talk.